Hi everyone, Michelle Fixit here. Today's video is going to be an update on how I'm doing during my CSF League adventure, with the added bonus of me doing my eyelashes and an unboxing video on eyelashes because I went on an adventure, took my eyelash kit from one house, traveled with it, and left it at another house. So I had to order more eyelashes. I'm having to use non-preferred tweezers, and I had to order more eyelash glue. So I told myself that anytime I had to do beautification that I would give you guys some type of like medical journey video because I'm just really bad about this stuff. So anyways, if you're new here with the medical complexities, I have a CSF leak. I also have POTS, dysautonomia, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. That's what POTS stands for. Postural hypotension, which is blood pressure that is low with being upright or standing. I am unsure if those two things are going to resolve or not with my CSF leak treatment. I have had 2 epidural blood patches and 1 CT myelogram done on my right side. Yesterday I was supposed to be scheduled for my left side. I think they made a boo-boo with scheduling and then tried to blame it on something else because it was actually a federal holiday, which my husband had let me know on when they scheduled me for it. He's like, that's a holiday. Are you sure that they're going to like really do your procedure on a holiday? I was like, I don't know, schedule for it. And then what do you know, the day before they're like, no, we're not doing that. Like your referral didn't have enough time. I was like, well, that's really funny because like you guys ordered this like 2 months ago. So I don't know. And now I'm currently scanning for my salt pills because I haven't had those in a while. So, CT myelogram number 1 on right side landed me with a new or worsening of other leak symptom thing. Basically, I was so bad that I couldn't be upright. I was down for 5 days, which was terrible, and was able to get a blood patch. I felt immediate relief from that. It was super duper cool. Really enjoyed that experience, minus the pain, and the point of being so bad that it led me to having to be grumpy enough to like be like, hey, you gotta fix me, like you guys messed me up. Salt pills. I hate taking pills. So fairly sure that I blew that blood patch and then was scheduled for second blood patch. And second blood patch, oh man, these are not the preferred tweezers. These are like itty bitty tweezers. So I don't know how well this whole eyelash thing is going to go. Had second blood patch, was doing super duper well. So excited about blood patch number 2. Man, I can't catch a break with this eyelash. And then something happened. I had a bulge in the back of my neck. Was rubbing it, trying to fix it. Didn't think it had anything to do with my leak stuff. And then found myself in the midst of horrible episode. Blew the patch. Then was really upset because I was having a really rough few days after that, and oh man, these eyelashes are gonna look really dumb. But anyways, had a really rough time. My husband had to come and save us because I ended up, like, I have rentals, that's my real job. And so barely made it to a rental. He had to come and save me because I was stuck in the bathroom caretaking my 2 children, because that all happened while I was at the dentist's office for them because they both had appointments for their dental care. And I was fine getting there. I was fine for part of the way in there during the duration of the appointment. And then we stayed in there for a really long time, and things happened to me. And then I had to find somewhere to feed them, get back to the rental, call my husband once I realized that I was just getting worse and worse, and I was like, I require assistance. So, was really upset about all of that and really not doing great. And then I've really been trying to work on my maintaining a better salt intake because that's like your first line treatment for POTS. And then for a while I was reading before I became part of a POTS clinic in a major hospital. I had read that like caffeine was bad. I'd also read that caffeine was super bad for migraines. And then when I finally got accepted in the POTS clinic, and then was able to see a POTS doctor, and then was accepted into a headache clinic for the major hospital. The POTS doctor was like, no, like some patients with POTS fare better with caffeine, some don't. It's like a half and half. My neurologist currently is very grumpy with me over my caffeine intake. I tried to remove caffeine from my life, and it just led to not being able to be upright without serious issues. So it's kind of been hit or miss. The interesting thing that's transpired since blowing blood patch number 2 and waiting for CT myelogram and another blood patch, is that I blew the second blood patch. I also blew the first one, but I like slow blew the first one. Like I didn't follow protocol. I was really trying to follow protocol with the first one. I went to pick up my son. I felt a change, but it wasn't an immediate result. It was like a slow worsening of symptoms. But then I was still like 20 to 30% better than I was before the patch and before the patch blew on the first one. The second one, immediately after I blew that one, I was doing horribly, just way worse than I was before any treatment. And that maintained for about 3 to 4 days. And then I really was upping my caffeine. I was really upping my sodium because I was non-functional. I was non-functional, and I was in an extremely large amount of pain. And I require functionality because I have 2 children. I don't understand, like I'm in groups and like some people become bedbound, and from my perspective, I will continue to troubleshoot myself until I find something that at least gives me a little bit of relief, because I cannot be in bed all day long. I have children that require my time and attention. So 3 to 4 days, it was horrific. My husband took the children so that I could sort myself out. I super upped my caffeine, super upped my salt, progressively was, getting a little bit better to try to get back up to the point I was before any treatment or anything like that. And what I found with my CSF leak adventure has been relying heavily on lay down periods. So I have overly tracked my symptoms to correlate to when I get this symptom, I have X amount of time or physical exertion before I will become useless. And I tracked and monitored all of that, and then it's like, okay, well, if I lay down at this point, then this will cause those symptoms to not be as severe. So after I blew blood patch number 2, I had to go back to the drawing board and find out what my new norms were in relation to symptoms and everything else, and then of course additional caffeine, making sure that I was overly hydrated, because that's also a big thing, is to stay hydrated, maintain salt and caffeine levels to stimulate the colloidal plexus, nexus, I don't know, get the gist of it. Like, there's just so much stuff to retain with all this. It goes back to a point where I wasn't as functional as I was before all this started, but I was fast tracking my way back to being functional. And I'm kind of in a weird spot right now where I don't know if it's that I have found the perfect balance of sodium and caffeine, and that has led to a lessening of frequency of lay down periods for me, or if it's that like I partially blew that patch, and maybe it's like maybe there was still some of the stuff in there, so that like I don't know, it started trying to seal itself up again. Like I know I'm still actively leaking. I'm still actively exhibiting symptoms that I'm leaking. But I'm at a point that I feel better than that 20 to 30% improved that I had with the first blood patch. Like it was like, first blood patch felt amazing, felt like a normal person. And then after I like, picked up my son or whatever, slow decrease. And then by the time that I got blood patch number 2, it was like, hey, it was fantastic. And after blowing it, I'm still 20 to 30% better than I was, which I will take as a positive. And blood patch number 2, told her about the whole blowing it thing. She told me that like the neck thing has happened to other people. She doesn't know what it is. She'd like to be able to witness it. Like I literally had like half a golf ball on my neck. And she also told me that she thinks I'm going to have venous fistula, which is a whole other thing that I really don't want to have. But they won't do anything else with me outside of blood patches until I get the left CT done, or the left CT myelogram done. So, I don't know. Right now, it is why I was kind of nervous. I mean, about doing the CT myelogram of the left side, because I'm very nervous they'll give me another leak or make my leak worse, which is what they said. Well, we don't know if we created a new leak or if we just worsened your pre-existing leaks. I'm like, okay, you literally poked a hole in my spinal cord and put a bunch of crap in there. and you expected me as a leaker to just like not have a new hole start up. Like, let's just call it what it is. You gave me a new leak. And of course, because I'm here trying to get patched for leaks and find out where leaks are, like, I'm more leaky. I don't feel like it was that what they said is like making another leak worse. I don't feel like that's at all. I think that's a way that they can like cover their butts. I mean, I knew it was a possibility. It's why I knew the possibility of creating another leak was, one of the adverse consequences from going on this venture. These tweezers are so bad. It takes a lot of concentration to try to like my eyelashes look so stupid. Anyways, so I feel better, but it's this weird thing where like I don't like being dependent upon all these variables. I have eyelash glue on my eyelid. I don't like being so dependent on all these variables in order to like feel decent. And I'm not even great. I'm just decent. I mean, I still fatigue really fast. I still have random bouts of tachycardia, random bouts of bradycardia. Blood pressure is still not great. Blood pressure wants to go down. I finally was able to figure out something that was like super perplexing me. It's like way too much information on Michelle Fix-It thing. So I've had this problem, which has kind of plagued me for a long, long time, of immediately after urination. I know you don't want to hear this. Immediately after urination, I'm very lightheaded. I have a lot of flashers and floaters that happen. I basically feel very symptomatic of fainting, passing out. It's one of the things that I've learned to deal with the POTS and with the postural hypotension, because my blood pressure is just abnormally low by itself and then bottoms out whenever I'm upright, which is, not cool because I want to be upright. I want to be doing stuff. I cannot get these little eyelashes off. I'm like trying to get the eyelash. These tweezers are terrible. And so I was finally able to figure that out, and it said that, like, most people, whatever, sermons on the research that you're looking at, like, when you bear down to urinate, there's like a vasovagal stimulation that happens, which causes your blood pressure to lower. And so someone with POTS or postural hypotension, that would like way make it worse, which you knew was present with the heat because heat's a vasodilator. So then that bottoms out your blood pressure, and the sight of blood naturally for like everyone is supposed to bottom out your blood pressure. So there's a few things that like as people will bottom out our blood pressure so that like, we will fall over and, not bleed out as much. And I didn't know, but it's a urination thing. So now I know the answer to that. So now every time I have to plan out my my urination cycle where I'm like, ooh, I'm going to have to urinate like now, because I also have this weird thing because I have dysautonomia. So like my bodily functions are super weird, where it's like I don't realize that I have things going on until like it's like I don't have to pee or I have to pee right now. I don't get like a empty quarter tank, half tank, 3/4 tank, full tank. It's like, no, I don't have to go to the bathroom, or I have to go right this second or I'm going to explode. So now it's like once I get to that point of like I have to go right now, I'm like, no, stop, take your salt pills, hydrate, push it as long as you possibly can to let the salt pills have a little bit of time to like maybe, get your blood pressure up a smidgen, and then go potties and sit there so that, you can assess where you're at. Not all people are created equal. Some people just have weird bodies. And it's very frustrating because at current time, all the little special doctors for people in my situation, man, my eyelashes look so dumb. You guys can't tell because you're far enough away from me, but they look so stupid. I'm gonna pause you guys and see if Husband Cat has some tweezers. I don't know. He's a rather chatty cat. He might have some better tweezers. These tweezers are like, they're just really bad tweezers. So I'm gonna pause you guys. I'll be back in a sec. I have 2 different types of tweezers now. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know where I left off with you guys. But essentially, I've had patch number 2 blow, and I feel slowly now starting to feel better. And I don't know how much of that is leak treatment versus better management of symptoms, and that's kind of frustrating. I've also been using the Aspen collar a lot. I think I made a video about that. And so it's just been like this whole whirlwind of events of trying to improve my lifestyle with a CSF leak. And every now and then I get exceptionally frustrated that it took me so long to get here. Like, it just doesn't seem appropriate that I had to go to so many doctors throughout the years and end up with so many different varying diagnoses to finally be at this point, because like I don't know what would happen if I would have had a bunch of children all together at once, because I've spaced my children out several years, like 7 years between the first one and the second one, and 9 years between the second one and the third one, because while I love children, pregnancy has been exceptionally hard for me. Like, not for my first one. My first one, the pregnancy was really easy. I didn't even know I was pregnant for a long time. It was the birth that was really hard, and then after I had her, life was really hard. Probably because I got a CSF leak. And the second one threw me for a loop because the whole pregnancy was just horrible. Third one, the whole pregnancy was horrible and I almost died. And so it's just a really frustrating position to be in. which is why I'm trying to document it in the midst of like all the other randomness that's associated with my channel, because by the time this video actually makes it out there, like, people are going to be so confused by my channel, because it's like random how-tos for vehicle stuff, random how-tos for house stuff. I've got some cranking videos, which I didn't even know was a thing, but like being somebody that really likes vehicles, I mean, I like really like working on stuff, vehicles included. So like it's just like a random bag, and then like my daughter's homeschooled. My son's medically complex, so like he's got videos about some of his stuff, and so it's a random bag. So I might as well add the CSF leak stuff to it. But I just get really frustrated because had it not been for my son having all of his issues, and then mainly one random lady on the internet, because like I was looking at possibly having a decompression surgery for a Chiari malformation, because that seemed like the only thing that like possibly was causing my symptoms. And it really should be a faster trek on this. And when you look at my history and my diagnoses and stuff, like it's just frustrating. Just exceptionally frustrating. So I don't know. I don't know where you guys are with your CSF leak adventure, but I wish you the best of luck, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to comment, email me. Don't be surprised if I make a video out of my response, because it's just faster. But as of today, which I know what today is, which it won't be for whenever this video finally airs, CT myelogram, right side, got a leak, patch 5 days later, or first patch 5 days later, second patch I think was 3 weeks, a month later, and almost had my CT myelogram of the left side, have areas of suspicion on the right CT myelogram, have a very debatable thing that current interventional radiologist says does not exist on my right side, but my medical records from a major hospital says it does exist. Research shows that that's probably, or could be probably venous fistula, and then another space where my interscapular pain is could be a venous fistula. She doesn't want to make a determination. She's calling it something else until we get the left side done. So I haven't had any targeted blood patches as of yet. Probably in the next little bit, going to start putting packages together to see about going out to Cedars-Sinai and or Stanford. Dr. S seems to be the big person to go to for venous fistulas, so may have to see him. The travesty is that there's a very, very good doctor geographically available to me, really not that far away, but he doesn't take insurance because he's so fanciful. There's also a whole medical facility that's dedicated to the special little people like me for hypermobility, EDS, bunch of stuff. And surprise, they don't take insurance either. And so that begs to question, like, if you are a person in this predicament and you don't have vast amount of money available to you because you are bedbound, or, you know, just getting by because you have to work harder than other people too because your body is pooping out at you and you fatigue at a faster rate, so that leads to, you know, not really finding the employment you would prefer if you were in better health, the doctors that are able to treat you want cash money and don't want to take your insurance. And not everyone has insurance. That's the other thing, is like, you know, some people don't even have insurance. And so, elitism at best. No offense to the super special doctors that have really honed in on these particular medical issues. But shame on you. Shame on you for not making your skill set and your talents available to the people that you like. It's just so exploitive. You're exploiting the fact that people can't function without your assistance. And everyone gets so upset over so many different things. Why isn't this upsetting? And I know someone's going to sharpshoot me, but who's to say you end up on disability because of these ailments? And so you have, what is it, Medicaid? You have Medicaid. Which is insurance. Doesn't pay out as much as the other guys do, but you're on Medicaid. And if you were resolved or properly treated for your diagnosed conditions, then you could go back into the workforce. But because doctors won't want to take the additional time to have a biller on staff and deal with the headache of insurance, you're just gonna say, screw everybody. If you don't have the money, honey, I'm not seeing you. It makes me mad. It makes me exceptionally frustrated. It's not a fairness thing, it's a doctor thing. Do no harm. All that good stuff. I don't know. I'll end it at that because it makes me mad. It makes me mad that instead of being able to go to a doctor that's geographically available to me that only specializes in people like me with my long list of diagnoses and everything, I would have to travel across the country to see one or two other doctors that also share that specialty. Because the guy that's close to me doesn't want to take my insurance. And, you know, it's private insurance. It's if you're in the medical field, I assume it's to help people. And when you put up additional barriers, or like the other place that only does like the EDSers and stuff, you made a whole facility. And then you started stealing doctors or PTs or whatever from other facilities. And you're making it where the people that don't have, like, they have insurance, but they can't use their insurance at your facility because you want to be elitist. Like, it wouldn't be so frustrating if there were other doctors available, but to be so specialized and then set up additional boundaries for patients that have to fight for years to even get the diagnoses that you treat, and then to ostracize them. It might be easy math for you because it's profitable, but from a humanitarian standpoint, it's terrible. I don't know why you're in the medical field. So, if you guys like and subscribe, have a fantastic day. Didn't mean to get really moody, but I'm sure you would agree if you were ailed by something that you couldn't treat without a special doctor's care and you fought really hard to even get there, and or if it was a relative or your child or your spouse or your parent or someone that you cared about, and then you finally find out that, like, just to see someone the first time for an hour, it's going to be $1,800, and every time that you go in to see them, everything is out of pocket, even if you have insurance. What are you going to do, set up a GoFundMe account? I don't know. Let's think about everyone's economic situations in this interesting climate that we're living in. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe. Message me, comment me with comments, questions, or concerns, any of that stuff. For liability's sake, I don't think I would throw those names out there for the people that I'm grumpy with, but if you look at my other videos, you may get a name here or there because I'm commending them on their work, just not on their business practices. See you next time. Bye!